I'm 27 now, but the real story begins when I'm 19, a sophomore with a half scholarship and a dented silver Honda Civic that reeked of gym socks and burnt coffee. L, short for Leora, though nobody ever used it, was 18, a freshman who drowned in oversized hoodies and carried a beat-up sketchbook like a shield. We lived in the same dorm, East Hall, 3rd floor. I was room 312. She was 316. The first time we spoke was 2:17 a.m. in the basement laundry room. My dryer had swallowed 3/4 and refused to spin. I kicked it. She laughed, this soft, startled sound, and said, "It only likes people who ask nicely." She fed it a crumpled dollar from her pajama pocket, and we waited together, perched on the folding table, legs swinging, trading stories about high school band disasters and the worst cafeteria pizza known to man. We learned we'd grown up 2 towns apart, 20 minutes on the highway, 40 if you took the winding back roads through cornfields and rusted silos. During Thanksgiving break, I offered her a ride. She hesitated, then nodded. The first trip was quiet. She traced frost patterns on the window while I fumbled with the radio. By Christmas, we were regulars at the 24-hour diner off Exit 17, Neon Moon Cafe, all cracked vinyl booths and burnt coffee, splitting greasy fries and chocolate shakes thick enough to stand a spoon in. She always paid for the shakes. I always paid for gas. I met her family first. Her dad, Tom, grilled steaks in the driveway even when it snowed, wearing a parka and flip-flops, shouting at the smoke like it owed him money. Her mom, Diane, made potato salad with too much mustard and asked if I was treating her right while sharpening a knife. Her little brother, Eli, 14 and all elbows, challenged me to NBA 2K and trash-talked until I let him win. My family was louder. Dad, Bram for Abram, told stories that started with "back in my day" and ended with everyone laughing so hard the table shook. Mom, Rena for Katarina, refilled your glass before you noticed it was empty and hugged like she was trying to squeeze the sadness out of you. When I brought Leora home for the first time, Bram clapped her on the back hard enough to make her stumble. "Welcome to the circus, kid." Rena hugged her so tight Leora's eyes watered. They loved her instantly. We all did. I graduated a year ahead, moved back home, took a job at a tech startup downtown. The salary was stupid, 6 figures before I turned 23. Leora finished her graphic design degree, landed a junior art director gig at an ad agency 2 blocks from my office. She moved in with me 6 months later. Our apartment was small, 900 square feet, creaky floors, a kitchen so narrow we had to turn sideways to pass each other. We painted the bedroom sage green because she said it felt like breathing. We fought over closet space, over whose turn it was to buy toilet paper, over whether the thermostat should stay at 68 or 70. 3 years of takeout on the couch, her feet in my lap, my head on her shoulder. I proposed on the same back road where we'd had our first kiss, pulled over under the same ancient oak, ring box sweating in my pocket. The ring was too big. She laughed through tears and said we'd resize it later. The red flags were subtle, almost polite. Bram started calling Leora directly, never me. Always family stuff, Rena's birthday menu, Thanksgiving seating chart, the guest list for my cousin's baby shower. Once I grabbed her phone while she was in the shower, steam fogging the mirror, her humming some indie song I didn't know. "Hey, Dad, what's up?" His voice went flat, like I'd caught him mid-sentence. Just Rena's birthday, cake flavors. Chocolate or lemon?" He hung up fast. I stood there dripping, towel around my waist, staring at the screen. Leora came out, hair wet, skin pink from the heat. She kissed my cheek. "Everything okay?" I said, "Yeah." I was an idiot. Another time, we were at my parents' for Sunday dinner. Bram pulled Leora into the garage to show her the new grill. They were gone 20 minutes. When they came back, her cheeks were flushed, his laugh too loud. Rena raised an eyebrow but said nothing. I chalked it up to Bram being Bram, overly friendly, trying too hard to make Leora feel like family. There were texts I never saw. Late-night calls she took in the bathroom, door locked, voice low. The way she'd jump when my phone buzzed if Bram's name popped up. I missed it all. Thursday. Leora had the day off, some new flex schedule at work. She made breakfast like always, eggs over easy, bacon extra crispy, toast cut diagonally because she knew I hated crusts. She kissed me at the door, coffee breath and vanilla lip balm. Love you. Text me when you get to the office. I did. Then forgot the quarterly report for the 3 p.m. client meeting, the one with the Japanese investors who'd flown in special. Panic hit at 11:47 a.m. I texted Sienna, my boss. I'd be late, sped home through lunch hour traffic, tires squealing on the parking garage ramp. The building was quiet, most tenants at work. Elevator smelled like old pizza. My key turned too easily. The door wasn't fully latched. I stepped inside and froze. The air was thick. Sweat, sex, her jasmine vanilla perfume. Clothes everywhere. Bram's loafers, one upright, one on its side. Leora's bra hooked on the banister like a flag. His belt coiled on the floor like a snake. A condom wrapper glinted near the couch, Trojan, ribbed, the kind we never used. I didn't scream. Couldn't. My heart hammered so hard I felt it in my teeth. Phone out, record button. I picked up every piece, his shirt, her jeans, the wrapper, and threw them into the hall like garbage. The bedroom door was cracked 3 inches. Moans leaked through, low, rhythmic hers. I filmed through the gap for 63 seconds. Counted them. Then flicked the overhead light. They froze. Leora's mouth open, hair stuck to her cheek with sweat. Bram's hand still on her hip, fingers denting the skin. He saw the phone, lunged for the sheet. "Turn it off! Turn it off!" His voice cracked like a teenager's. Leora scrambled for a pillow, clutching it to her chest. Bram came at me, towel slipping, belly hanging over the edge, face purple. I warned him once, "Take another step and you'll regret it." He didn't listen. Grabbed for the phone. I hit him, clean, right on the jaw. The crack echoed. His head snapped back, hit the doorframe with a sick thud, and he went down hard, legs folding like cheap lawn chairs. Leora screamed my name, sharp, panicked, like I was the one who'd done something wrong. I pointed the camera at her. "You worried about him now? Nothing for me?" Bram groaned, blood on his lip, one eye already swelling. I told them I'd be back at 5. If they were still here, the video went everywhere. Rena, Tom and Diane, her boss, Sienna, every group chat, every family reunion slideshow. I looked at Bram. "You're not my father anymore. Go home. Tell Rena I'll call her tonight." I left the clothes in the hall. Drove back to work. Sat in the parking lot until my hands stopped shaking. The report was still on the kitchen counter. I never went back for it. I sat in the parking garage under the office building for 43 minutes. The engine ticked as it cooled, the only sound besides my pulse in my ears. My right hand throbbed, knuckles split, skin already purpling. Bram's blood had dried in a rust-colored comma on my shirt collar. My phone buzzed. Sienna, my direct boss, the one who'd hired me straight out of college. "Where are you? The Tokyo team's already in the boardroom." 5 minutes, I croaked. My voice sounded like gravel. I changed in the men's room. Spare shirt in my gym bag, white, wrinkled, but clean. I scrubbed my hands until the sink ran pink. The mirror showed a stranger, eyes bloodshot, jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle twitch. Sienna was waiting outside the conference room. She took one look and her face folded. "Jesus, what happened?" "Nothing. Forgot the report. Had to go home." She noticed the blood anyway. "That's not nothing." I followed her into her office, shut the door, and played the video. No sound at first. Just the shaky hallway, the clothes, the moans. Then the light. Then the punch. Sienna's hand flew to her mouth. When it ended, she stared at the frozen frame. Bram on the floor, Leora clutching the pillow, my own face twisted into something I didn't recognize. She asked the questions gently. "Do you need the week off? Do you want HR? Do you want me to call someone?" I said no to everything. "I can't go home yet." "And the meeting's in 20 minutes. She let me go. The conference room smelled like dry erase markers and imported coffee. 12 people around the table, 4 on the screen from Osaka. I smiled, nodded, walked them through revenue projections like a robot. My hand hurt every time I clicked the remote. When Mr. Tanaka asked about Q3 risk mitigation, I heard myself answer in full sentences. Inside, I was screaming. Afterward, Sienna caught me in the hallway. "How the hell did you do that?" "I don't know," I said, and meant it. I left at 6:07 p.m. The apartment was dark, exactly as I'd left it. Clothes still in the hall, condom wrapper still winking under the overhead light. I stepped over everything, grabbed a trash bag, and started with the bedroom. Sheets first, ripped them off the mattress so hard the fitted corner snapped. The smell hit me again, and I gagged into the kitchen sink. I bleached the mattress anyway, then flipped it. Every photo of us came down. The frame from our first vacation in one bag, the canvas from Tom and Diane's anniversary in another. Her toothbrush, her lavender shampoo, the stupid cactus she insisted needed a name, Mr. Prickles, into a box labeled Liora. I texted Tom and Diane at 11:42 p.m., engagements off. "Leora cheated with my dad. Her stuff is by the door. Please pick it up tomorrow." "I'm sorry," no response. I stared at the ceiling until the numbers on the clock blurred. Friday, I woke up on the couch still in yesterday's clothes. My hand had swollen overnight. The knuckles looked like spoiled plums. I iced it, swallowed 4 ibuprofen, and tried Rena's cell. Straight to voicemail, 6 times. I drove the 45 minutes to the house I grew up in. Same maple trees lining the street, same cracked basketball hoop above the garage. I threw up behind a gas station at mile marker 12, then again in a McDonald's parking lot. The second time was mostly bile and shame. Rena burst out the front door before I'd even killed the engine. She was in her gardening clogs, hair twisted up with a pencil, face blotchy like she'd been crying or yelling, maybe both. "What the hell are you doing here?" "Rena, you hit your father." "After you and Leora fought, he tried to calm things down and you hit him. She's inside, devastated, and you have the nerve to show up?" She kept going. Abuser, monster. How could I do this to Leora? How could I do this to them? Every word landed like a slap. I stood there in the driveway, keys cutting into my palm, and something inside me snapped clean in half. "Really, Rena?" My voice didn't shake anymore. "Because your husband's been fucking my fiancée for months." That's why I hit him. "Want proof?" I pulled out my phone, thumbs smearing blood on the screen. Airdropped the video. Her phone chimed. She opened it without thinking. The footage. Played, hallway close, moans, light punch. She made it 12 seconds, right. To the part where Bram's head hit the door frame, before the phone, slipped from her hand and clattered on the concrete. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. No sound came out. I didn't wait. "Don't call me when you need someone to blame." "I'm done." I backed out of the driveway. In the rear view, she was on her knees in the grass, shoulders shaking. My chest ached like I'd been punched all over again, but I kept driving. Saturday morning. I rented a 10x10 storage unit on the edge of town. Cash, no questions. Loaded every box marked Leora and parents into the Civic until the suspension groaned. The cashier gave me a look when he saw the split knuckles. I pretended not to notice. Back at the apartment, I scrubbed baseboards with bleach until my fingers pruned. Changed the locks, $180 at Home Depot. Worth every cent. I made 3 appointments for Monday urgent care, hand x-ray, STD panel. Therapist, first available slot. Lawyer, lease, ring return. Restraining order if needed. Tom and Diane finally texted at 4:17 p.m. "We're so sorry. We'll be there at 6 to get her things." They showed up in Tom's pickup, Diane's eyes red-rimmed. Neither spoke until the last box was loaded. Diane hugged me, quick, fierce, smelling like the same Tide and lavender detergent they'd used since I was 19. "We loved you like a son," she whispered. Tom shook my good hand, eyes wet. They left without mentioning Leora. I stood in the empty living room and realized the silence didn't echo anymore. The apartment smelled like lemon cleaner and possibility. That night I slept 12 hours. Dreamless, dead. When I woke up Sunday, the swelling in my hand had gone down enough to flex my fingers. I made coffee, opened the blinds, and started looking for a new place. Somewhere with no memories baked into the walls. The final shock came Monday afternoon. Urgent care called, hands bruised, not broken. STD panel negative. I was halfway through the paperwork when my phone buzzed. An unknown number. I answered. It was Rena. Voice small, cracked open. I watched the whole thing. I kicked him out. I don't know what to say except I'm sorry. I should have listened. I let her talk. She cried. I didn't. When she finished, I said, I need time. Maybe a lot of it. I'll call when I'm ready. I hung up, paid the bill, and walked out into the October sunlight. My hand still hurt, but the ache felt different now, like something knitting itself back together. Update number 2. After my last post, I got in touch with Jude, my oldest friend and a real estate agent who still owes me for covering his ass during senior year finals. He sent me 12 listings. I picked the one farthest from everything. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, cedar siding gone silver with age, perched on 5 acres of pine and scrub oak. The realtor called it rustic charm. I called it mine. Closed in 9 days. Cash from the savings I'd been hoarding for a down payment on a house with Leora. Moving day was just me, Jude, and a U-Haul. We carried the new mattress, still in plastic, up the narrow stairs while moths batted against the porch light. Jude tried to make jokes about Bachelor Pad 2.0. I let him. When he left, I stood in the empty living room and listened to the quiet. Real quiet. No traffic, no neighbors, just wind in the pines and an owl asking its eternal question. I called Tom and Diane from the back deck, boots on the railing, beer sweating in my hand. Diane answered on the second ring. She still hasn't come for her stuff, I said. Landlord starts showings Monday. After that, it's dumpster bound. Diane's voice cracked. We'll be there tomorrow. They came at dawn, Tom's pickup rattling up the gravel drive like it was ashamed. Diane hugged me so hard my ribs creaked. Tom loaded boxes without meeting my eyes. The last thing they took was Mr. Prickles, the cactus. Diane cradled it like a baby. My phone became a war zone. Leora, 47 missed calls. Wanted 12 texts. Please let me explain, I'm so sorry. I love you. Bram, 19 voicemails I deleted unheard. Rena, 3 emails. Subject lines getting progressively smaller. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please. I blocked them all except Rena. Something in me wasn't ready to erase her completely. Work was a minefield of concerned glances. Sienna left a post-it on my monitor. Coffee? My treat, I went. Told her about the cabin, the owl, the whiskey on the deck. Left out the blood tests. She didn't push. Therapy session 3. Dr. Mara asked about friends. I shrugged. They text. I ghost. She asked me to read one aloud. I did. Group chat blowing up about fantasy football. See? She said. They're still orbiting. You don't have to let them land yet. Just acknowledge the signal. I unblocked Jude. Then Sienna. Then the group chat. Responses trickled in. Dude, cabin warming? We miss your ugly face. I typed back. Soon. Final update. In my previous post. STD panel came back clean on a Tuesday that smelled like rain. The nurse practitioner high-fived me like we'd won something. I sat in my car and laughed until I cried again. The cabin wasn't a cabin. It was a 1989 double-wide with delusions of grandeur. Peeling linoleum, avocado green sink, wood paneling that smelled like my grandfather's basement. I attacked it like it owed me money. Weekends became demolition derbies, ripped out carpet with a box cutter and a podcast about true crime. Ironic. Sure, sanded floors until my shoulders screamed, then stained them dark walnut, painted. Walls the color of storm clouds. Built a deck extension with lumber. From the salvage yard, every nail a small act of violence turned into something solid. I hired an electrician named Ray who chain-smoked and called me Chief. He rewired the whole place while humming Johnny Cash. Plumber was a woman named Carla who fixed the shower pressure and told me her ex cheated with her sister. We drank beer on the new deck and didn't talk about it. Therapy session 8. I brought Dr. Mara a jar of peach jam I'd made from the tree out back. She laughed. Said it was the first bribe she'd ever accepted. We talked about Rena, about the diner, about the bomb Leora dropped. I'd unblocked Rena 3 weeks prior. Called her from the hardware store parking lot, paint swatches in one hand, phone in the other. Meet me tomorrow. Dino's Diner, noon. She was there at 11:47, clutching a coffee cup like a life raft. When I walked in, she stood, then sat, then stood again. Her eyes were puffy, hair unwashed. She looked 10 years older. We ordered nothing. She talked first. I kicked him out the same day. He's in a studio above the bowling alley. Drinks from noon to close. I nodded. Leora came by last week, she continued. Showed up with a drugstore test. 2 lines. Said she didn't know whose it was. Wanted your number. The diner spun. The smell of bacon grease turned my stomach. Why didn't you tell me? I was ashamed, she whispered. Of him, of me, of believing him over you. She reached into her purse, pulled out a folded ultrasound photo. Grainy black and white. A lima bean with a heartbeat. She left this. Said if it's yours, she'll figure it out. If it's his, she's gone. I stared at the image until the edges blurred. I don't know what I want, I said. But I know I don't want it decided by default. Rena started crying quietly. I didn't comfort her. Not yet. Back at the cabin, I sat on the deck with the ultrasound in one hand, cheap whiskey in the other. The owl was back, perched in the pine like a judge. I thought about hunting, about the 3006 in the safe, the way deer freeze in headlights, about how some things you can't unsee. I texted Leora for the first time in 2 months. We need to talk, but not until I know what I'm saying. I'll reach out when I'm ready. Then I texted Rena, I'm not ready to forgive, but I'm not ready to disappear either. Give me time. I set the phone face down, poured another finger of whiskey, and watched the stars come out one by one. The deck boards were still warm from the day's sun. Somewhere in the dark, a buck snorted, close enough to smell. I didn't reach for the rifle. Not tonight. Tomorrow I'd call the lab Leora used. Get the paternity test scheduled. After that, who knew? For now, the cabin creaked around me like an old friend clearing its throat. The jam was setting in the fridge. The floors gleamed. And for the first time in months, the silence didn't feel like punishment. It felt like a beginning.